When the King of Pop makes one of his rare public appearances, his loyal subjects hang on his every word, follow his every movement. As Michael Jackson arrived at the Sydney Opera House, the heavens threatened to open as more than 10,000 fans screamed. Jackson's record company rewarded its biggest selling artist with a special presentation. An 8-metre statue flown in from Prague was towed into Sydney Harbour, and a series of framed awards. Jackson's record sales have already topped $75 million. With a slight giggle, he told the assembled crowd he was full of sorrow at the prospect of leaving Sydney.
I want you to know I love each and every one of you very much.
The crowd surged towards its hero, crushing many young fans. Several had to be rescued and treated for minor injuries. Despite Jackson's brief appearance, he made a lasting impression.
Michael was completely blown away with today. He really loved this.
Jackson then went to the Prince of Wales Hospital to spread his own special brand of hope and joy to the young patients. He now heads to Brisbane for the second leg of his tour. Michael Reid, 10
The rock superstar flew into Sydney this afternoon. He's due in Perth as part of his national tour on November the 30th for 3 concerts.
It seems not even the King of Pop is safe from air traffic delays. Michael Jackson's late arrival time enough for the 1,000 fans at Sydney's Sheraton on the Park to be whipped into a frenzy. And now Sydney knew the circus had hit town. Mingling with the crowds, Jackson even tapped along to a traditional Aboriginal performance.
While the fans may have gathered here to see the man himself, the real show is behind the scenes, with an enormous entourage employed to bring Michael Jackson Incorporated onto the stage.
Along with 140 staff, more than 100 tonnes of stage equipment loaded into 22 semi-trailers. All this to create the History Tour. Jackson will perform his first Australian stage show spectacular in Sydney this Thursday night.
After bad weather prevented his plane from taking off. He's expected to leave for Brisbane tomorrow. Today he made a rare public appearance in front of 10,000 screaming fans at the Opera House.
His fans always believed he could walk on water. Today the King of Pop proved them right. More than 10,000 crammed the Opera House steps until finally the real thing.
My heart is full of sorrow because I have to leave today.
Total public adoration. And thanks from Sony for earning the music giant more than $75 million from Australian sales. Next stop, the Children's Hospital in Randwick, where he met kids and toured the wards. Last night, Jacko bid farewell to more than 40,000 fans at another sellout Sydney concert. Then back at the hotel, one fan with stars in her eyes and a photo.
Jackson has arrived in Australia. The most controversial figure in the world of entertainment jetted in for a series of concerts, part of his World History Tour.
The pop megastar's luggage arrived before he did. A chartered jet, one of 5, touched down with just part of the equipment used in Michael Jackson's extraordinary year-long travelling show. 3 years ago, Jacko was meant to tour. He cancelled. The fans have had an anxious wait.
I don't know. It's just that I love him.
They weren't the only ones waiting anxiously. Promoters were preparing for the Jackson juggernaut. The self-proclaimed King of Pop came in on his personal plane, an Air New Zealand charter. With security to match a royal or presidential tour, Jackson was taken inside the terminal. Meanwhile, fans at his city hotel waited, some all day. And then he emerged, albeit behind tinted windows, his cavalcade taking a slow drive.
We want Michael Jackson when you want it now!
And then a reward for the followers who'd stood guard at the airport. Jackson recognising their support, stopping to meet and greet the loyal ones. Michael Usher, National 9. Without his mask and on the town, Michael Jackson, master of publicity, at the world opening of his short film. Thousands queued for hours. He arrived not with new wife Debbie, but a dozen young friends. However, after the 30-minute screening, chaos. A barrier broke, a crush of photographers and fans surged forward.
Everybody was getting tramped, people were getting falling down the stairs. He nearly fell over, he had tears in his eyes.
Jackson was torn away from his young guests as bodyguards swamped the star.
All he could say was, I've lost my children, I've lost the children. And so they had to throw him back into the cinema, and he felt like he went under, he went on his knees and he crawled through the people.
Pop's so-called king was rushed to his waiting van. His entourage of young fans were swept into a bus and taken back to his hotel. Jackson returned.
Outside the Radisson last night, the gates of heaven were suddenly flung open.
It was the best moment of my life, yeah.
Today, 18-year-old Julie Windsor is still in a spin.
Just a proper nice, long, huge hug.
Julie, who has no pancreas and depends on this life-giving drip for survival, was able to meet her idol through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Meantime, preparations continue at the Burswood Dome, where 60,000 Perth fans will see Jacko in 3 performances. The first on Saturday. Jacko, who was originally scheduled to spend 8 days in Perth, may now extend that stay by another 4 days before heading to Japan. Doug Cunningham.
And the world.
Michael, is it true you plan on getting married? Are you getting married?
There's been speculation for days Jackson was planning to marry his pregnant girlfriend, Debbie Rowe. After last night's concert, the rumours appear to have become fact. His production company in the United States confirming the marriage in a brief press release. It quotes Jackson as saying, "Please respect our privacy and let us enjoy this wonderful and exciting time." Australian tour promoters are yet to release details of the wedding. Earlier, the 40,000 Sydney-siders at his concert were unaware any wedding was about to take place. Seeing Jacko in the flesh was all that mattered.
Yeah, he's an excellent dancer. He's the king of pop!
There were Michael Jackson lookalikes, male, female, young and old, and no shortage of tributes from frenzied fans.
You're the best dancer singer in the whole world.
And when he appeared on stage, the smooth-moving superstar wowed the Sydney crowd like few performers can. Matthew Watson, National.
Pat in the choir, please. I don't have a 34 to 70. Michael? Michael? Very good.
Strange man. Did he have the mask over his face?
Well, he had the mask over his face eventually, but a lot of fans waited for hours and hours just to catch a glimpse of him. And there was an awful lot of excitement, people fainting, collapsing. He actually asked that girl, he saw her out in the crowd and asked for her to come in and gave her a kiss. And here he is arriving at the hotel with his security. The press were absolutely everywhere, the security crawling all over the hotel. Of course, Michael's requested there's no ashtrays in his room.
Well, he doesn't want to breathe the same air as the rest of us, let alone breathe smoke.
And apparently the pollution levels yesterday were very, very low.
His own child in February, Michael Jackson today described this as the highlight of his Australian tour so far.
This is for you.
Thank you.
I'll sign a picture for you too.
At the Sydney Children's Hospital, Jackson played Father Christmas a month early.
Bye, Max.
Again, no sign of his new bride, the performer spending 2 hours inside, given special visiting rights to gravely ill children in the cancer ward.
Can we get something for her, a toy?
The self-styled champion of children dished out thousands of dollars in presents, dolls, toys and computer games. Jackson taking time to play. The gifts for some outsizing the patients.
How do you spell your name?
B-A-N.
Clearly enjoying himself, a cameraman's stumble proved a good joke. But while it was here the softly spoken star seemed most comfortable, his real performance was at the Opera House. A 30-foot-high Jackson statue was floated down the harbour, 10,000 fans almost drowning out their idol.
I love each and every one of you very much.
Michael.
If I can just let you know that all these albums, all Michael's platinum albums and gold singles, represent sales in Australia of in excess of 75 million. Special recognition award.
Off the plane, fans went absolutely ballistic. The screaming was just deafening. And there to meet him first and foremost was an Aboriginal dance troupe. I hope you can see them now. They were just fantastic, and I think even Michael was in awe of their dancing, and particularly the young ones as well. He went over and greeted them. They gave him a boomerang and some gum leaves, which he waved at the crowd. They also gave him a didgeridoo, which he was particularly pleased to get. Then he went over and met the rest of the crowd. Fans were probably quite staggered that he came so close to them, I think. He even shook hands with some of them, let them touch his hand. It really was one of the best meet and greets you could have of one of your modern-day idols. He even picked up some of the younger Aboriginal dancers, gave them a hug, got into a huddle with them while they were down on the ground. Very moving.
Probably pan over and just have a look, as you can see over the shoulder.
And he's got, if the screaming subsides, he's got some entertainment lined up, hasn't he? Isn't there a choir about to sing? Probably they already singing and we can't hear them.
Choir, Aboriginal dancers, and if you can still hear me, it will be very, very huge.
Okay, we can see him behind you now, Joanna. So as far as arriving at Perth Airport and there's been no chance, of course, to talk to him, I suppose. The miners are keeping people well clear of him?
No, indeed. Well, we don't know if he's giving any interviews to us this evening, and I'm sure there'll be some lined up for the next couple of days. And I think I might sign off now before the crowd drowns us out completely. That's all. Back to you in the studio. Also a person onto the side with a baby Joey. As you can see, autograph hunters are straining. Security men have never looked so nervous in their life, as far as I can tell. It's just absolutely pandemonium, and the feeling is electric, and it's certainly what the crowd has waited for all day.
There are so many kids. Are there a lot of police there?
Yes, indeed. There are police lining the streets right back to where BP is on the opposite corner, further up a West Coast highway. It really is. As you can see, they're pushing against the crowd, trying to keep them away. Well, Michael seems very unrelaxed. His mask is back on, of course. He's blowing kisses, signing autographs. He's having a ball, although the wind, I think, will play havoc with his hat very shortly.
Joe, is there any sign of the international media in the light of those divorce reports today?
Well, his personal camera crew are here filming. At the moment, there's no other cameras other than us here at the moment, but apparently a huge cavalcade has travelled with him on this Australian tour. And there's a little chap having a dance now, giving him an impression of his own moonwalking.
Well, thanks very much for that, Joe. It looks like an exciting time for a lot of kids down at Scarborough.
It's the highlight of my life. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.